Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about another proposed mechanic. It's the same guy who makes all these mechanic posts. You know, we do appreciate them on this channel. We talk about them, we discuss them, and I think they're great additions if they're either made into an in-game feature later on, or if they're made into a mod. I think either way it will be a great feature to have in the game. So we're going to go over it like we usually do. I'm going to link it down below. If you enjoy it, you can go check it out, do an upvote, do a comment. Also check out all his other proposed mechanics. He's done a lot in the past. We have covered a lot of them. And we're going to continue covering them because I like them, you guys like them, so why not, right? So this one is going to be build your own great estate / mine / fishing village / martial... I don't know what that is. Marshalling field / logging camp. Okay. So let's get right into it. So hello, love the game, so happy that it's back on track. True. As I understand it, one of the earlier ideas kicked around by the devs was the ability of players to grow their towns, villages, and customize them. Okay. I understand this idea was dropped due to several issues. As this idea is super cool, however, I would like to propose an alternative idea, one that wouldn't disrupt the caravans, battle mapping, but would allow players a fair degree of agency. Okay. So first of all, if you have played Mount Blade Viking Invasion, you will know the world was dotted with monasteries, logging camps, and farms that could be interacted with. Yes. I propose allowing players and AI lords to buy empty plots, which would be found all over the map, and choose from the list of facilities below. Okay. I kind of was thinking the same thing. Hold on, let me move my mic. But I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, we have places for castles, towns, and villages, but there should also be other, like, we only have one training field, and that's kind of like the only other thing that is different from all the other settlements. And I don't really count hideouts in that same way, so we're not going to count hideouts, because hideouts are kind of like, you can't really interact with them, you can only attack them. So I think I'm gonna like this. Like, I was thinking about, like, kind of like the logging camp was a good one. Farms is a good one. What else you can do? Estates, yeah, sounds good. Just like in terms of, like, you can make your own what's it called? Like, all the raw resources that we have in the game, it would be cool if we could buy, like, this plot of land, like he states. Like, there's specific locations where you can buy a plot of land, right? And then you can choose from, like, a drop-down menu of, like, what you want to kind of make, depending on what you choose, right? Like, so a fishing village, like right here, obviously would produce fish, right? Because you would catch fish. A logging camp would obviously produce, what's it called? Wood, right? And stuff of that nature. So yeah, it would be very cool if you could, like, let's say create a farm, and then you can choose what you want. Do you want a cattle farm, or do you want, like, a farm that just, like, grows, like, what's it called? Grows food. Like, which one do you want, right? I think that would be very cool. It would add a lot of a great aspect into the game. I think it could be done with a mod, but the modding tools obviously aren't out yet. But yeah, I think that would, and like he stated, it wouldn't really interrupt obviously the caravan system that goes from town to town and all that, because the plot of land would not be connected specifically to the castle or the town, right? It would just be owned by somebody who might own the town as well, but they're not, like, hand in hand, if that kind of makes sense. But let's get back to what he's gonna say, right? The options of facilities to choose from would obviously be influenced by the plot's location. Yes. To buy a plot, that would be extremely expensive, 100 to 500k, and would really serve as a late game mechanic. Yes, we need more late game mechanics. I feel like once you got money in this game, the problem is everything that you want to buy is it's like you got the money always. Like, you're rich beyond your wildest belief, like, halfway through the game, most of the time. Sometimes you have, if you didn't prepare well enough, right, then you're going to have a problem with money even late game. But if you prepared, if you got all your workshops up, all your caravans running, the money's going to flow in easily. So I think we need some late game, like you said, some late game mechanics, right? Because caravans, they're very cheap late game. So same thing with workshops, very cheap. And, armor and all that stuff, it's kind of expensive, but not really. And most of the armor you can actually like find by like defeating a high level lord, right? So yeah. Each plot would be linked to a town. Okay. I kind of didn't want it to be linked, but it depends how they're linked, right? It depends how they're linked, right? Like, so yeah, I don't know. Would that mean if you weren't part of that kingdom, you couldn't buy that plot of land? That's what I'm trying to see, because... Or can you still buy it if you're neutral with the kingdom? And then the same thing with workshops. If you become enemies with that kingdom, then the plot of land is gone. Because that would be kind of a high-risk investment if it costs that much. And then, you know what I mean? You become enemies all of a sudden and they take your plot of land. The plot would be technically separate from the town, but they are linked to. But parties of penance would be sent to trade and facilitate goods in the town. Okay, so yeah, so they wouldn't be completely linked, but they would have some relationship where peasants would interact with it. Okay. Garrisons could be placed in each plot. Yeah, not a lot though. I feel like it shouldn't be a lot. Like you shouldn't have like, it shouldn't be like even castle wise. It should be, I think it should be under 100 or 100 max. It'd be 75 at most. Like I don't think AI should want to target these places, right? These plot of lands shouldn't just be targeted off a gate. Like let's say a war happens, because obviously these are, you know, gonna be mostly run by peasants and stuff of that nature, right? Like most AI should be targeted to go after castles and towns, not just, you know, slaughter. But then again, they do raid. I don't know how you would actually do this. I don't know, because you don't want the garrison to be too big as well. So interesting. I don't have an idea at this point. Once the player has bought the plot, they can further invest to build the following. Okay, so these are the options. We got Great Estate, Mine, Marshalling Field. What is a Marshalling Field? Oh, it like trains pet. Okay. Fishing Village and Logging Camp. I think there should be a lot more that have to do with all the other resources. I think that would be cool, but yeah, let's go over it. So first one, Great Estate. A Great Estate can be used to grow grain. Okay. So technically, one thing can grow multiple raw resources. So therefore, you don't need a different thing for each resource. Okay, makes sense. So a Great Estate can be used to grow grain, wine, olives, and other such crops. The following improvements could be made for substantial cost. More fields. Estates could be expanded to 3 levels. Okay. Keep a crude 2-story defensive structure. Okay, so that's kind of where your garrison would be. Factory, where the raw materials, example grapes, are turned into the finished product, which is wine. Okay, so it'd be kind of like a workshop as well. Okay. So if you didn't want to do a workshop in a town, but you want to do it right next to it, it's kind of like as you being the sole person who gets these things and also produces them. Okay, I get it. So obviously they're going to produce more income for you than let's say a workshop and stuff, since they're kind of like an end game village / workshop if you think about it. Labor for the estate would be supplied from the town's villages. This would come at a cost to the player unless players could lobby the ruler to pass the I don't know what that is. Encomienda. I'm sorry. I can't pronounce that system. This would oblige the villagers to work on the estate for free. The term is taken. Hold on. The term is taken for a system of labor used in the Spanish Empire. Okay, there we go. So that's kind of what this word means. All right. The workers' wage will be instead paid in the town's ruling clan. If the player rules the town, then it's free labor. This greatly increases the profit. Hold on. The workers' wage will be paid by the town's ruling clan. Oh, okay. So this will be like a policy and that you can pass. Okay. Owning an estate will hurt relations with local villages. The level of production that estates can achieve drive down the prices of their products, hurting the village's livelihood. Should the player add insult to injury with the system, this could well lead to peasant rebellion. Ooh, so like you're taking the jobs and they're not having it. Okay, that's a cool little concept. Now let's move on to mine. Plots near mountains could function such as the same as great estates, except with a mine entrance instead of fields. Okay. Improvements: crude 2-story keep. Okay. Deeper mine shafts allowing the mining of higher value metals. I like that. In place of a factory, a blacksmith could be built and could be set to produce certain weapons automatically once the necessary metals are present. Oh my god, an automated javelin creator. What else do you need? What else? I'm just kidding. What else do you need? The E system would affect mines the same way. Okay, so that you can get free labor if you pass it, right? And then relations with villages would be affected in the same way. Okay. I think there should also be a policy, right? Since you have this policy, I think there should also be a policy that either you lose some dinars, but you gain some relationship with the villages because you kind of put it as a donation for you using this plot of land. You know what I mean? So kind of, and it reduces the chance of a rebellion, right? Now we got the marshalling field. Marshalling field would be the most expensive type of plot to develop and would be a late game mechanic to save players the hassle of training peasants from nothing. Okay. The marshalling field would attract poor peasants from all around to train. The marshalling field would automatically generate peasant recruits. The marshalling field would draw recruits from the culture of the nearby town. Okay. Improvements. Barracks level 1, 2, and 3. The level of the barracks level, the higher the level the recruits will be trained to. Okay. 4. A crude fort, but of better quality available to other plots. Okay, so they would have kind of like the best garrison type of way because obviously they're training troops. Okay. And stables allow for troops to be trained to cavalry. Also generates horses for trade. This right here, same with this. This should be very hard to do to upgrade the barracks. And the stables, I think that should be an extra like 100 to 200k dinar thing that you need to invest in to build the stable. I think the stable is very, very powerful. And if this were to happen, the marshalling field, I can already tell you there's only 2 units that would be trained from this. Horses, I don't care what type of horses because most horses are overpowered. And like the top tier archers, those are the only 2 who are going to be made, you know, consistently. So I think both of these, you know, need to be, what do you call it? Like a dinar thing. Also, back to the mine, the blacksmith part should, I think all of these parts were like the factory, the blacksmith, and for this one, both of these barracks and stables, I think they should, once you buy the plot of land, you can do the basic stuff with it, but if you want to go to the next step, like for the factory where you turn the raw materials into a finished product, you need to invest more. You need to invest 200k more or something like that, right? For the mine, if you obviously want to start creating weapons automatically, you need to pay up. If you want to do the stables, you need to pay up. I think that should, you know, be a thing. Because, yeah, it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Standing army law. If the player is a ruler, they may pass. Oh, and also, here's another thing that people might not like. It depends. Huh. The question is, would these... What I would suggest for these, so stuff doesn't get out of hand, pretty much, you know, so you don't make so much passive income to the point where it's just like, what's the point of playing the game? You can just sit in a town, right? And make all the passive income you want. What would be cool is, let's say this great estate where it makes the final product, right? Or if it doesn't make the final product and it just gives you the raw products, I think you should be able to go into the keep, and then you go into the stash, right? And then you either have to manually do it, or you can tell one of your companions to go with a party, collect all the items, and sell them to towns, to nearby towns. And I think they should not give you an income, but they should take a lot to run, if that kind of makes sense. So you'll be paying for like a daily wage to run, let's say the great estate or the mine, and they're going to generate resources or final products for you and put it into your stash. And if you want to actually get the payout from that stash, either you go and collect all of that stuff and sell it to nearby towns, or you send one of your companions to do it. I think that's how it should be done. I don't think they should just give you a great base income. I know people might disagree because obviously they want to kind of play it in easy mode, but I think that if for what these provide, I think they should cost a lot. And I understand this is a lot right here, the 100 to 500k, but I think that over time it should still be kind of a grind. Like, good games, in my opinion, even if it's late game, I still want there to be a grind to it. You know, I don't want to get to the late game and then it's just like time to steamroll. You know, while it does feel good, it gets really stale really quick. And even in general life, like, if you really think about it, once you go through stages in your life, there's struggle throughout the whole thing. Yes, once you have a lot of money, then, you know, you don't have the basic struggles, like, let's say, paying rent or you know, buying food and all of that, right? Because you can obviously afford it because you have the money. But at the same time, you might have a company, you might have this, and you might have to make decisions that if you make the wrong decision, guess what? You might lose 100k and you might lose more than that. So, you know, I feel like the more you progress in the game, there should still be difficulties, if that kind of makes sense, right? So I don't think these should just have a basic, like, you know, oh, since you just bought it, basically you're going to get between 1,000 to 5,000 per day of income. I don't think that's how it should be. I think you should have to actually pay 1,000 to, let's say, 2,000-3,000 per day to run these, and then if you want to, collect your resources, or even have, like, let's say maybe like a caravan that automatically goes at the end of every week, collects it, and then trades it. Something like that, of that nature. I think that should be in the game, right? And I know for the time being right now, people might disagree because it's hard to get income right now. But if a lot of stuff is added, you know, there still has to be some type of balance, if that kind of makes sense, right? Now, where were we? That was a lot. Okay, so marshaling field. Last one was standing army law. If a player is a ruler, they may pass a law passing the cost of his marshaling fields onto the other clans. Clans would be expected to pay for the kingdom's standing army. This would annoy the subject clans, but save the ruler a massive expense. Okay. You probably never get this passed, or your overruling costs would be insane. But, yeah. Now we have fishing village. On the surface, this would act as advertise, a plot that generates fish to be sold to the town. The below is dependent on naval combat and trading being implemented proposed here. We went over that in a previous video. So here's the thing. So I think you can buy the fishing village, right? Or you can even do fishing post or something like that, right? And then if you want to start doing trading, ooh, you know, it'd be very cool if you have to make a choice. And this can obviously be deconstructed and remade later, right? Kind of like how workshops can change what they produce. But I think, let's say you want to change this fishing port into a shipyard. Now, you have to make a choice. Do you want it to be a combat shipyard where troops will be sent out and stuff of that nature? Or do you want it to be a trading shipyard where trading ships will come back and forth? And I think that point is where, like I stated before, pay extra like for the stable or pay extra for the factory. You would have to pay extra and then choose. Do you want the naval one? The naval one would cost more because obviously, you know, navies, you know, in combat and military usually cost a lot more. And trading would cost a little bit less. But at the same time, there would be big costs to build that shipyard up to that point, right? And then obviously you can deconstruct it and change it to the other one for a decreased price, kind of the same way as workshops. Shipyard, this would allow the construction of small boats such as longboats and dows. I think that's how you say it, right? Crude keep, increase fishing fleet, level 1, 2, 3, allows for more fish to be caught. Okay. Should the player choose and the village will have a shipyard, they may secretly base a pirate operation from the village. Ooh. This will mean that the village can launch attacks against passing trade ships. This will be done in secrecy, and with every attack, there's a % chance that the operation will become public knowledge. Okay. Laws could be passed permitting the practice looking at you, Sturgia, but should it be illegal, the ruler will demand the player cease. Okay, it's a little cool little aspect, side aspect. Now we have logging camps. This plow will generate hardwood. Improvements. Crude wooden keep. Okay. Hunter huts allow for the production of furs. Ooh. Okay. Longhouse, Battalion specific, allows for the generation of forest bandits and noble line band. Ooh. You know, it'd be cool if obviously you get this, right? You get the hardwood, the crude wooden keep. Also, I think you should have not a blacksmith, but like a place where you can change this hardwood into charcoal, right? That comes with it when you buy, right? And then also, then you can buy the hunter huts kind of for the same price as the stables and all of that. And then, if you're a Battalion, still can't say their name. If you're a Battalion, then you can upgrade these hunter huts to a longhouse, and they would also do production of furs, but also generate you what's it called? These guys. That kind of makes sense. I think that would be cool. Now, garrisons in each plow would be limited to 100 soldiers in each, like I stated. Okay. Construction of a keep allows a maximum of 200 garrisons. I think for some places you shouldn't be able to do this construction. And I think it should be 75 and 150 if you make it bigger. These plows would be fantastic targets for invading armies and would need to be protected to avoid them being raided. Ooh, okay. That's kind of... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. I can't really give you an answer right now. Anyway, these are my ideas. I'd like to hear your thoughts or other ideas for facilities. Yeah, so those are my thoughts, you know. Yeah, I like the ideas, you know. I have my criticisms, but overall, I do like the ideas. I think they would add a lot into the game. And like always, like I said before, if you like it, I'm going to link it down below. Go give it an upvote, go comment, all of that. And yeah, like always, stay safe.